Today is November 10th, 2019.
So I'm just going to over talk a video that I had made in November of last year. The video is irrelevant to what I'm going to talk about, or maybe it's not. I just want to say, I understand that with everything that's going on right now, it's hard. It's hard to accept it for what it is. And I get that. I understand. Nobody wants to talk about a virus that could be a bioengineered virus that could wipe out 60 to 80% of the population worldwide. Nobody wants to talk about that. And as a result, our automatic defense is to say, well, we'll just deal with it when it gets here. And it doesn't affect me. It's happening in China. Or whatever. I've heard several excuses from several people. Not the risk of making them feel like I'm talking directly about them, and I guess maybe I am, but I'm not gonna go into detail. I just want to say, for a very long time, ever since I was a kid, and I'm 45 right now. I'll be 46 in June. All of my life, I have seen things differently. Each and every day, somebody wakes up to the Mandela effect, or they wake up to the reality of we've all been lied to. And that's amazing. I'm glad. I'm glad people are waking up and seeing the truth for what it is. But all of my life, I have always seen things differently. All of my life, it has caused me to be the black sheep of my friends and family. All of my life, I've been standing outside of this circle because nobody understands what I'm talking about. They don't see what I see. They just can't see it. It's amazing. It is so hard to see things that are so obvious right in front of my eyes. It's so hard to hear what they're saying in their backwards speak, but nobody else can hear it. When you can decrypt a good portion of the world, it's a scary feeling. And when you try to talk about it to people, especially those that you love, they don't understand. They might pretend sometimes. And they might try to understand. And they may go with it for a minute. But in the end, they don't really understand. You see, the video I'm playing right now is a good example of what I see as opposed to what most everybody else sees. Everybody else thinks that the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything are just the same as they were 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And they're not. You see, when you look up, you see a sun and a moon. When I look up, I see a simulator. And because I see it, I can prove it. In this video, you can see the lensing system. You can see the projective properties of that system. And most people don't understand that. And this is just an example of how I see things differently than most other people. So besides the sun, the moon, and the stars, I hear things differently too. Things are coming that most people cannot comprehend nor accept and cannot understand. And I get that, I really do. But just because you see things differently than I do does not mean that you should turn your back and hate me for it. Instead, maybe you should stop and ask yourself, what am I missing? What is he seeing that I'm not seeing? And how is he seeing what I'm not seeing? Putting up a wall and just automatically defending yourself without any understanding isn't the solution or the answer. Sometimes you have to just stop for a moment and say, wait, if you see that, why are you seeing that? And then once you give me the opportunity, or someone like me the opportunity, to explain to you why we see this, if you still don't agree, that's fine, you're entitled to your opinion. And we always give you that entitlement. We always tell you it's okay to think what you think and believe what you believe. But on the opposite end of the coin, very few people give us the chance to explain. You can't always assume that we're wrong, especially when we see this. Do you see what we're seeing? Do you see what I'm seeing right now? Do you see the sun coming up? Do you see this projection down here in the bottom left corner? Do you know what that is? Of course you don't. But I do. And if you don't ask, you'll never know. And if you don't care, you're missing out on what's really going on around you. I hate to say this, but things are not like they were 100 years ago. Well, in a way they are. But that's a whole different story. The point is, you're missing out on a lot. You really are. Things are changing very rapidly. And the distractions are there to keep you distracted. I could go on and on about what I know and what I see and what I believe. But the more I talk, the more you're just going to shut your ears off and your eyes off and this video off. My suggestion to you is each and every day, take in one thing that is new. And no matter how unbelievable it might be to you, just take it in and open your mind and consider it. Think differently for one day about one point of view that is not your own. If you've seen the movie, what is it called? The Truman Show. Yeah, if you've seen The Truman Show, you might have a basic understanding of what's going on. Yes, of course, it's exaggerated and hyped and might appear unrealistic, but it actually told us a lot. Well, it didn't tell me much, but it might have told you a lot that you weren't aware of. For example, when that light fell from the sky, that is the same thing that happens all over the world. These giant coils, these circular coils of wire, they fall from the sky. What they are is they are stars. They are plasmatic stars. They suspend in the ether. Most people don't understand what that means. And that's fine. That is fine. But if you can't accept just one new thing a day that doesn't make sense to you or doesn't apply to your reality, you're missing the big picture. And you're never going to know the truth. Where do you stand? Do you want to continue to be hypnotized and misled? And follow the sheep where everybody thinks the same way? Or do you want to snap out of it and see things for what they are? Yes, it's scary. Of course it is. There's nothing comfortable about knowing the truth. But it's vital at this point because it's everything is coming to a head right now. It really is. And yes, you can live one day at a time and just pretend like nothing is going on, but you're missing the big picture. If you are a religious person and you believe in God and you believe in Jesus and you believe you have a soul, then you need to believe that you have a responsibility to wake up. And if you can't do that and you want to do things your way, if you want to ignore what is being put right in front of you just to make yourself feel comfortable, then your lamp is not full of oil. In fact, you've dumped it out onto the ground and you decided to go sleep under a bush. Knowing the truth is not easy. It comes with consequences. It comes with sacrifices. It comes with pain and heartache. And yes, it's very stressful. You have no idea. But once you actually pay attention, you cannot unknow the truth. That's why I've labeled my channel and my page and everything, Unknow Everything. Because everything we know is not true. You must unknow everything you've been taught. You must forget it. Because if you can't let it go, you're never going to know the basics of reality. If you think the little bit that you have heard and seen on my page and my channel, if that tiny, minute amount bothers you that much, then you will never see things for what they